then the more money that flows through you, the better. Is aspiration bad? Jimi Hendrix is credited with the quote, "When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace." When we hear that quote in the context of what society values, there's a certain oh, you're thirsting for power, that's a bad thing. You're chasing after achievement, that's a bad thing. And really, it only comes down to the root of the aspiration. If the core of the aspiration is out of, I'd call it smallness or insecurity, then people become objects to get to power or money or something that you think will give you a sense of satisfaction. When you realize that experientially your happiness is intertwined with everyone else's, then it flips. It's actually impossible to hold the old perspective. So for years I was like, I don't know how not to treat people like objects. And it was only when I really got in touch with my emotions that it started to become impossible to consciously do something bad. And my frame for wanting what I wanted started to take the form of, well, I don't want someone else to do something for me that they don't want to do themselves. And so the place where yeses were created only happened where the other person was saying yes and I was saying yes at the same time to whatever the agreement was, whether it was going on a walk or doing business together, or they were, hiring me as a coach, or I was hiring them as a coach. There was no sense of I need this to make me feel enough. That started to fall away. And we really do need people in power who have that ethos of wanting both parties, all parties, to sort of consent, which requires a certain amount of education, which requires a certain amount of care. So aspiration is really, it's essential. We need that. We need you achieving. And then if you think about it in the context of money, right? So not just power or achievement, but money itself. If you are using your money for good, then the more money that flows through you, the better. In some sense, when money flows through hands of people who are spending it with love, there's a kind of laundering effect in a positive sense for the world. So if you've been holding back your dreams because of some sense of, well, I don't want to make money, I don't want to achieve because that's bad, or I shouldn't do that, or I did that and it wasn't fulfilling and meaningful, find where your meaning exists, what is worth creating in the world for you that stands outside of money and power, but then absolutely embrace money and power and everything else with that higher context first. If you put meaning first, all of those other things, one, they stop being needs, or there's no neediness around them. And it's good for money to flow through people. We need that. With that old sense that I shouldn't try to make money because money is bad or evil, then who makes money? The people who are willing to make money, who don't have that filter, who don't care, who aren't that sensitive, who don't care about other people in the way that probably you do. So we need you to make money and spend money lovingly. And that doesn't even necessarily mean donating. It just means spending money with a sense of consciousness about what that money's doing and how it's impacting the world, and trusting that you'll do that with your heart, especially as you start to sort of become more and more sensitive. The more sensitive you are, the harder it becomes to spend money on things that don't feel good to spend money on. All right, hopefully that inspires and empowers you, if there's any blocks in your way, to not reject your own loving desire for power and money and achievement. There's absolutely nothing wrong there. It is all inert. It's only in what fuels that. So if you do the work to make sure you're coming from love, we need you. Okay, take care.